Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hello there, boys and girls, and welcome to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, the longest circuit on the calendar. I'm your commentator, Robert Ionescu, for the GP2 weekend, and I'm joined today by Joseph Willows. Hello, Joe. How are you doing?
Doing good. I hope you didn't hear any echoing there because I forgot to
No, I think
mute the.
it's all fine.
It's because I forgot to mute the live stream from my end, so I could
All
hear
right.
Rob's voice twice there. But I've muted it now. But yes, it's good to be back commentating after being out of action for so long. But yeah, all good.
Good to see you. Yeah, and we can't wait for this session. Last time out, of course, in Hungary, it was a pretty chaotic race with loads of collisions and drama. But at the end of it, all Davi Suarez, who started in 10th, went home to take a victory for a second time in 3 races and to take the championship lead back once again. Henry Watts also made an incredible drive from 21st all the way to 3rd. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's getting very interesting, this championship, with 5 races to go, of course. Pretty much anybody's for the taking.
Agreed. And of course, Chris Chatfield, for the 3rd time in 4 races, he finished 2nd. So another great showing from him.
Absolutely. I will say as well, I think we're going to probably be in a little bit of competition in terms of streaming, mainly because obviously at the same time, McLaren are launching their 2021 challenges. So I wouldn't be surprised if anybody's multitasking in terms of which stream they're watching. Has Rob gone? Because I can't hear him. Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be close.
Okay. Can you hear me this time?
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say, yeah, because the car launches usually drag on quite a lot, but yeah, it's gonna be a bone dry session. So yeah, no threat of rain at the moment, and it's looking good for the drivers. And then in the OC news, of course, in case you missed it, Gabriel Gomez confirmed to stay at Alfa Romeo, currently known as Sauber, and George Roque will be returning to Force India, known as Racing Point, for next season. So
yeah,
those are the news, really.
Some fantastic news there. Of course, the team.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we're now here in the session.
Yeah, it's begun. Green lights have been turned on like 10 seconds ago, and we'll be waiting to get the cars on track.
Yep, only cloud cover for this, as you mentioned, so no rain at all here in Belgium. We didn't have any for the practice session as well for the top class. And but as I've noticed as well, this is the first time that GP2 is actually using this version of Belgium, because last
it's a whole new one.
Because last season it used the 2009 version, but we seem to be using the 2018 one this time by. And Watsell's first out on track.
Yeah, here he goes. He's had a good last couple of races. Of course, in Germany, he absolutely dominated the weekend. And in Hungary, he may have started at the back, but he went all the way up to 3rd in a pretty unnoticed race, but still did absolutely incredible performance. And let's see if he can get another good finish here in Belgium.
Makes his way down the Kemmel Straight now then, and we'll be approaching Lacoon very soon. We just see 3 other cars there, one of them of course being Nguyen. I think one of them's Bennett as well, that's behind Watsell, and we should expect all 22 cars out here of course, and then a little bit later on one will probably get left behind in the garage, as we've seen numerous times during qualifying here for any GP2 session.
Yeah, natural. Yeah, of course. But also another thing to point out, where it's about the longest circuit of the track. Unless one of the 2 voted tracks remaining will be longer than it, but we're yet to find that out. Otherwise, Spa is very long, and means there's not going to be so much time. So if you decide to stay into the garage for one run, that might be it. You might not be able to get all 4 runs done due to time constraints. Anyway, all 22 cars are now out on track, as you can see from the mini-map. And Henry Watsell, all clean air for him. He's going to be entering Sector 3 now, preparing to start his lap.
Yep, we're just 28 minutes to go in the session. All 22 cars are now out on track. There's nobody on the mini-map that's left to come out. They're all out there. They're all obviously easy to space out around here, given how long the track is, as Rob rightly mentioned. So hopefully we don't see too many drivers getting held up on their first flying lap.
Well, I can see a couple of cars quite closely behind each other in Pujon at the moment. But yeah, it's time it's time for Watson to start his lap. And would you like to talk us through it, Joe?
Absolutely then. So we make our way down the pit straight now then for the first lap. Henry on board with Henry Watson down to the first corner, which is La Source. Always we see quite a few accidents here in the GP4 OC. Whether we'll see that in GP2 and the OC this week, we'll have to wait and see. Heading down the support pit straight, usually where a lot of sports cars usually hang around, usually for the Spa 24-hour race, due to how many cars are usually in that race. Up towards Radion, well, Eau Rouge and Radion, I should say. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Down the Kemmel Straight, as very long straight on the track. You're probably going to see a lot of overtaking down here as they approach Lecumbe. These three corners coming up, through into the right, and then they'll soon flick it to the left. Then a little bit of a little breather before flicking it back to the right, using all the curb on the outside before making their way down towards turn 8. A very long right-hander, very undulating indeed, very easy to understeer the car on the exit.
Indeed.
Now making their way down towards turn 9. This used to not have a name at all, but now it does. It is the Jackie X corner, as
right.
now making their way down towards the double left-hander of Pouon. A very fast left-hander, probably a lift at the beginning, but then flat for the second part. Out of the corner they go, using all the curb on the outside, then making their way down towards these right and left-handers. A very medium speed section of corners before making their way down towards the double right-hander at the end of sector 2 through the first one, and then the second part, which is called Stavlo, named after the place where the track is actually located, of course, Stavlo, making their way down towards this back straight now then towards Blanchimont, the first part of Blanchimont now then. This is the first one, flat out, and then into the second flat out one, a little bit more tighter than the first one, before making their way down towards the last chicane, still called the bus stop chicane, oddly enough, because it was actually a proper bus stop chicane at one point, but now it's just a single chicane, but it still has the name bus stop chicane. Coming into the final
chicane. It is an iconic name after all.
It is indeed, as now coming down the pit straight, as Watson finishes lap with a 156.847. Let's see if anybody can beat that.
Barretto has beaten him by 2.5 tenths. What about Federi? He's a little slow, and Guengo's quickest by 6 thousandths of a second. Now Benz Waldinger, it's a very quick lap. Pull for him by a tenth. Suarez takes that away. And now Dennis Graf a little bit off the pace. 7th. Tomaselli 2nd, and now Christoph Beranek finishing his lap. He's got Anderson behind him, or Fosbury, one of the two. It's Anderson. Goes into 6th. Adventure pulled by half a second. That was a great lap. What about Kupok? He's all the way down in 7th. Zorbach, this is an even quicker lap. Goes on pole by 4 tenths. Curtis, 3rd. Coffee, 3rd. Now Chatfield, he's a little bit down in 10th. Judd Fosbury to cross the line next in front of Valin Zolga. Zolga 3rd. Galloway now finishing his lap in front of one of the Carlins. 15 for him and 4th for Fasher Ray. Now Max Killen to finish his lap. And 4th place, not bad. Carl Burns the last one to finish. And it goes into 5th. Appears to be yet another solid qualifying from Burns, but at the moment, Zorbach is the one to look out for because that was an incredible lap, wouldn't you say so? Joe, are you still there? I can't hear you exactly, Joe. So if there's an issue, did you disconnect or something? I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, Zorbach. Oh, all right. Oh man, Virgin Media, huh? Causing some issues, I think, for Joe. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, we'll be waiting for Zorbach. Welcome back, Joe. Interesting fact, by the way, since you were talking about the bus stop chicane. Another interesting fact about Spa, of course. Before World War One, this racetrack was located right on the border, like literally on the border between Germany and Belgium. There was a little bit of a border change after World War One, though, of course. So now it's entirely within Belgium. But a good memory is turn 1 initially, before it was called La Source. It was called Virage de l'Ancien Douane, which means the corner of the old border. And of course, because the border passed through there. But yeah, now no longer the case. And Zorbach is coming in.
He is indeed, and it's actually quite on the edge of Belgium, actually, the track is as well. Hence why the likes of the Netherlands are quite close. It's actually a Dutch-speaking part of Belgium that we're actually in with Spa.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's where it's located, it's actually
It's
got
on
quite
the east,
a.
it's on the eastern edge of Belgium. It's a region called Malmedy, which used to be part of Germany, but after World War One, it was annexed by Belgium, which is why it's the Belgian Grand Prix, of course.
Exactly. The closest track to it, actually, the other closest racetrack to it, is actually the Nürburgring, in fact, and that's only just over the border from it in the Eifel region of Germany. So,
Yeah.
another interesting fact there.
Well, of course, Belgium is pretty small, so that's another thing to take into account. But yeah, many racetracks in this particular part of Europe, and it's always good.
Indeed, as we wait for the next set of laps to come out. So at the moment, it is currently Zorbach at the top of the standings. Adventure in second. He obviously kind of needs a good result at the moment. I mean, he did have a few points in Hungary, but the last few races hasn't been the sort of Daniel Adventure that we've used to been seeing at the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think he only picked up 1 point in Hungary, actually, and he didn't score in Britain, he didn't score in Austria or in Germany, so his first point in quite a while.
Indeed, as Verderi is now out on track, so he'll be the first to set the time from this group. We expect one of them to be left behind in the pit lane, whoever that will be. We'll have to wait and see. So we've got a very interesting nose cam of what it's like up through Eau Rouge and Radion. So
someone else has gone out, but Verderi appears to have quite a lot of clean air around him. Of course, if that will remain the case, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah.
Verderi making his way around Lacombe now then. As a few more cars, as you said, are just coming out onto the track. A little bit more spaced out, of course. I don't think we saw any hold-ups in the first run, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
I think there was just a little bit. I think Anderson and... wait, no, not Anderson. Verderi was holding someone up, I'm quite sure of that. And also, yeah, I'm not really sure either way. But I want to mention, speaking of Verderi, his teammate McCarthy also came out pretty early. I was looking on the table on left. The Lotus Roses have gone out. We still got some more cars going out right now, and I think Verderi will be safe. There's quite a long way until the start-finish straight.
Absolutely. It's at the moment the whole gap is separated by 2.1 seconds at this point in time. You probably think that's quite big, but actually the bigger the track, the bigger the gaps usually are, especially with a spec series like this.
Yeah, quite rightly so. I remember in the real life 2016 race on qualifying, Rosberg took pole from Verstappen from the two Ferraris by like only 0.2 of a second though, so it can get deceptively close sometimes. Either way, don't be surprised if the gaps are huge. As Andrea Verderi is starting his second flying lap, and Burns has stayed into the pits. Verderi, no dirty air for him.
Yep, so he'll be out then on the next set of runs. So the other 21 cars are obviously out there. Verderi on his lap right now as he makes his way down towards Eau Rouge.
Yep, and now up into Radion, and on the exit towards the Camel Straight. A very fast section, not quite flat out in the GP2 cars, but of course famously flat out in F1. And it's a very high-speed section, followed of course by a bunch of corners. This is a magical spine. Verderi's actually gone quickest of all in the first sector there. Of course, the margins are close because there are only basically 3 corners in this entire sector. So just a huge straight line, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to wait and see what the next 2 sectors are like, especially this bit. This is where the most of the twiddly bit is for Spa.
Yeah,
this is where most of the downforce is going to get produced as Verderi makes his way down towards Pouhon now then. Let's see if he can...
considering how GP4 driver stats work, the sectors with most corners will be the ones where the drivers lose the most time. So if Verderi can keep up the space he showed in the first sector, it remains to be seen, and we'll see in just about 5 seconds.
As we make our way through these next sections of cars, let's see what his second sector is like. He's down from the pole sitter and over a second, in fact. So you can see how much time Zorbach gained in the middle sector there, but he's still up on his personal best at the moment.
Yeah, by almost 4 tenths there. So despite the gap to Zorbach, Verderi is still looking to set personal best, which could get him up at this rate, maybe into the top 15 or right outside of it. We'll have to wait and see now as he enters the butt stop through the right and then the left again. And Andrea Verderi will be finishing his lap. Can he get out of the back row? It's time to find out.
Across the line he comes. Let's see what he can do. He goes up to 15th.
Yeah, so quite. I got my prediction thereabouts. Now Henry Watzel will be finishing his lap, probably in 18th, and let's see where he can go. 14th. He went up 4 places there. McCarthy appears to be in the red, so he might not be improving, and he's holding up an MP Motorsport. Finishing his lap, he hasn't improved. And Graf has gone all the way up into 7th, so that's a huge gain for a man who was in last. Bennett into 14th, same lap as Nguyen. Kupok finishing his lap, goes 2nd. And speaking of Nguyen, he goes 2nd now. What about Davi Suarez? Goes 9th. Wallinger is up next. He's holding up Chatfield, that is.
Chatfield goes up to 3rd regardless.
Yeah, Zorbach, he doesn't improve on his provisional pole time. What about Adventure? Can't get back on the front row with that lap over 2nd down. Thomas Anderson, he can't improve either. And now Alessandro Tomaselli, he actually didn't improve. What about Christoph Beranek? He's gone into 14th place. Fasheray up next. He didn't improve, and I don't think Zorga is going to improve either. No, Jake Galloway could improve though, which he does, goes up into 9th. What about Judd Fosbury?
Only 20th for the man who sits 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. Max Skillen, no improvement. Curtis, he doesn't improve either. So at the moment, Zorbach's still top, but this time only by 38 thousandths of a second ahead of Nguyen.
Yeah. Curtis was actually up in the 2nd sector. I saw quickly some green on the dev panel, but he lost time in sector 3, which is weird. As now Wallinger, his teammate, is being overtaken by Chatfield, of course, both coming in. And Chatfield trying to make the pass into Puhan. This could tell about how the racing will be tomorrow. But Wallinger managing to hold track position.
Yeah, absolutely right, as they're all coming into the pits this time. But we should expect Burns to be out on the next run as well. The McLaren still hasn't launched yet. I think they're just going through a bit of admin first before they launch the car. I wouldn't expect too much from the car, apart from the back end, because they've obviously got a Mercedes engine. But at the moment, I'm pretty sure that we're still... people are paying attention to this at the moment, given the car hasn't actually launched yet. So hopefully
it's for sure gonna be orange again because of the branding and everything. I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah. I mean, who doesn't love papaya? I love the papaya, to be honest with you.
I like it actually. I've seen on Twitter some people say they don't really like the orange McLaren so much. They'd rather bring back the silver days, and those were really cool too. But I feel McLaren is orange is McLaren's traditional color, always has been, and yeah, it should stay orange.
I think it should stay orange, to be honest. It is their original color at the end of the day. And at one point, they pretty much what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty much trolled back in 1997 their kind of livery. In 97 when they ran an orange test livery themselves before they went with the iconic West livery.
And of course, also in 2005. Which is when they made they started their long partnership with Johnny Walker.
Well, that was actually for 2006, but that was more, they were testing with the 2005 car. And I think people were hoping it was going to be orange in 2006 after they lost the West sponsorship, but it didn't in the end.
Yeah, of course. 2005 was the last of the iconic West liveries. McLaren went one season with basically a Johnny Walker style livery, and then they went with the famous Vodafone livery, which I liked quite a lot.
Yeah, the Vodafone livery is quite iconic. As Watsel's now coming out on the track, he was obviously the first guy to come out a little bit earlier on, so he's kind of resumed that role on this run. Yeah,
he's done it again.
As he makes his way up through Eau Rouge corner there.
Yep.
And we have just under 13 3/4 minutes to go in this session.
Federi and Graf have also gone out again, and there's someone else heading out now. It's McCarthy. And we'll be waiting for some more people.
Wonder who'll be staying in the pits this time by. We'll have to wait and see, of course.
Well, it's not Burns because he's gone out for a second time now.
I wouldn't expect too many runs around this track, given how long it is. So it might be seeing less runs than what we have on previous tracks.
Yeah, of course. And this will be a bad strategic choice for the teams who decide to not let out their driver right now. Because, yeah, if you only take 3 laps, it could cost you. It didn't cost Chris Chatfield at Silverstone when he took pole with only 3 runs, but it can still cost you at the end of the day. It's better to do 4 laps, always.
As Watzel makes his way towards the end of Sector 2. Still cars coming out of the pit lane. Still try to ensure that they don't hold each other up. We haven't seen many people holding each other up in this session due to how long the track is. It's meant that the drivers, of course, are able to space themselves out a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if Watson gets held up in a minute because there's still some cars coming out of the pit lane, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think there's like 8 drivers left, and Max Gilman will be going out now. And yeah, Watson could have a little bit of traffic issues. We'll just have to wait and see. Galloway is also going out as is Fasheray.
Watson's just come out of the final corner now. He's about to start his flying lap as Fosbury's coming out. Let's see if he's going to get held up by any of them.
It will be close, but I think Watson will be in front, yeah.
So Watson will have some clear track in front. As there is Fosbury, just right there. And the guy who's got left behind is Aaron Curtis, so he will not be able to do a run this time by.
Yeah, that's right. Watson lucky to avoid the traffic there, but Fosbury, his next lap might be compromised, unless Watson pulls away from him now.
As they make their way down towards the Camel Straight. The Sector 1 times are usually close, and it's the same on this occasion. 1/10 down on Zorbat, but he's 1/10 up on his personal best.
Yeah, of course, the S1 times, as you said, can be deceiving. Just look at where Federi is now, and remember he was faster than Zorbak in the first sector. But yeah.
Definitely lost a lot of time, as we saw in the second sector, a full second, in fact, that second sector. As Watson makes
how
his way
much
down.
will Watson make up? We will have to see on that one.
We'll have to see how well he does into the middle sector. This is where I would say most of the time he's going to come from, as Watson now through the right and left-hander he goes, using as much curb as he can, as he now approaches the end of Sector 2, which is just before the Stavlo corner. Let's see. His Sector 2 time is looking actually quite decent, in fact. 4/10 down and 4/10 up on his personal best, so he is on a massive improvement.
Quite rightly so. He could get himself into the top 10 at this rate, but is it just me, or Joe, what do you think? Is Fosbury actually catching up to him a little, or is it just my eyes? Because I feel Fosbury's on a very good outlap.
I don't think he's catching up too much to him, so I wouldn't expect Fosbury to be held up by Watson on this particular occasion. But you never know, of course. You never know. He could just use a tiny bit of his slipstream. He might just be able to grab a little bit from him. As Watson now across the line, let's see what he can do. 12th place.
Well, that was a good performance for Watson. Made up some places there, goes into 12th. Now Federi doesn't seem to be improving right now.
No, it looks like he's going to be stuck on the back row, and it's 21st still for him. Graff is going to cross the line, no improvement. Here comes Chuck McCarthy, the Irishman. This is a good lap for him, and he goes up to 4th.
Very much so, 4th place for him. Now Carl Burns on his second flying lap. Where is he going to go? He's going where he is, because he's had a terrible lap. Nguyen staying in 2nd. He couldn't dislodge Zorbak. And Eric Chatfield in 3rd place. What about Adventure? No, he's still way down. I've seen many times this season, on the 3rd round in particular, people just don't like to improve. I don't know why that is, but it's weird, you know. As Skippo could be finishing his lap, and it doesn't look like he's improving either.
Yep, as he now makes his way down the pit straight. Let's see what his Sector 3 is like, and it's not an improvement. We have seen on the first laps, people can be down in the middle sector, but then bring it back up in the last sector. Suarez didn't improve that time by. Anderson, who's currently last, stays in last. Baldinger stays where he is, down.
Very close to improving there, only 100th down. Bennett improves 15th, and Bennett, he's on an improvement. He takes 15th away from him. Now Zorbak, he's been on pole this entire session. I don't think he'll be bettering his pole time as it stands.
Let's see if that's not going to be an improvement then, because the last sector we have seen drivers bringing it back up, but Zorbak doesn't improve by 0.8 of a second. Here comes Balint Zolga in the Sauber liveried Russian time. He does not improve. Here comes Skillen.
And that's he. Tomaselli holding up Galloway. Galloway improved actually to 10th place. He's a little slipstream there in the last sector, and he's gone up into the top 10. Now Fosbury.
Across the line he goes. No improvement, stays 20th. Not good for the guy who's currently lying 2nd in the championship, as Fasheray goes up to 11th.
Yeah, very close to the back of Galloway there in the table. And clearly, some slipstream being in play for Jake Galloway. It's helped him out on his previous lap, and now he's passing Tomaselli. Purple sector 1, but of course he is pitting. So don't be deceived by that.
Which is a bit gutting if you think about it, but that's how Grand Prix 4 works, I'm afraid.
Yeah. It's a little sad, but you know, it is the way it is.
Yep, as some cars are already in pit lane. Be interesting to see who'll be left out this time by. I wonder if we'll be seeing the last runs next now, because we've only got just over 7 minutes left.
Well, I think so. I would think so because Curtis and Burns, there's no way they have time to do 2 flying laps like this. Just do the math. A lap is about 2 minutes, and they have to do an out lap, the flying lap, the in lap, and that takes 6 minutes alone. Let alone doing another in lap to catch the time. It's just not gonna be enough for them. So there's only 1 round left in theory for everyone else, which means someone's gonna miss out. They're not gonna go. He's not gonna go out this run, and that will cost them.
Indeed, definitely. As the Charouz guys pushing Gaderi back into the garage there. There's the current pole sitter, Nicolas Orbach. He's already got a victory this season at his favourite place in Austria.
Naturally.
The only guy to get multiple wins around that track. He definitely loves that track, it must be said.
Yeah, he's got 3 wins, and Nicholas always talks about his curse because every time he wins in Austria, he doesn't win anywhere else during the season. So let's see if we can make that happen in Spa. His only GP2 victory that didn't come in Austria came in Russia in 2016, I believe.
Yep, that is correct. All the other wins he's got have been in Austria, but obviously Sochi being the odd one out, of course. A little bit of a thing with this track, of course. Usually the advantage is on the outside when it comes to the grid, so maybe Zorbach will be probably praying if he's watching that someone bumps him down to second, so then he's probably got the best chance to try and jump someone at the start. But
yeah, if you guys have been following Flo's fantasy series, every single time we raced around Spa, albeit with a different mod, no matter who it was, the guy in second always overtook the guy on pole on the outside of turn 1. Like Thanos said, it's inevitable.
Because it's quite close to the racing line, you see, so it's obviously going to be a little bit more grippy around there.
But you know what my favorite ever start in any Grand Prix game was around Spa? Back in IFMC when it was wet, and Bottas came all the way from 7th to take the lead at the first corner. That was amazing.
That was magical. That was, and that was when we had the old chicane, didn't it? From
yeah.
I don't think we ever used the newer version of Belgium.
No, we never did for IFMC. I'm not only saying that because Bottas was my driver, but it was just incredibly funny to see. As Aaron Curtis will be starting his lap now, his 3rd and presumably last flying lap. Here he goes, and is he gonna get some traffic? There is some movement in the garages.
Still a load of cars in the pit lane at the moment, so it's not quite clear who's going to be the one to be left out. Zorbach's gone back out onto the track to see if he can try and improve. Curtis is not going to get held up, so luckily he's just got a bit of clear track in front of him, so there's no problem there at all. As Watzel starts his final lap as he makes his way through into La Source.
Oh, and Fosbury, he's ranked quite close to the back of him again. And this time he'll get some clips from Henry Watzel. But let's see if he's impeded for Rouge. Not quite, no. No third year from here.
First sector he should be fine, given it is basically just a straight. But if he's still behind him in the twiddly bit, that's going to be a bit of a problem. And it looks like he's probably going to get affected in sector 2.
Yeah, he's going to need to pass him now, and that's not going to happen. He's too far back. Of course, improving in the first sector, but that's aided by Slipstream, which he's not going to get into here.
Comes Curtis then. He's obviously on a flying lap and he's got nobody around him, so he is on a clean one. It's Fasher who's been left behind this time by, so I don't think we'll be seeing him doing a lap this time by. I think I might have had a bit of lag on my end there. I do apologize.
Yeah, but of course, it's all right. But of course, Fasher might not going out this time, of course. He will still have time to go out. I'd say he has about a minute and a half before he has to go out. And clearly, Fasher might be able to make it.
As it doesn't look like Curtis is on improvement. 6/10 down on his personal best in the middle sector, so it looks like it might be only a 17th place start at the best for Curtis.
Yeah. Obviously, he's not going to get the checkered flag, but look at how much time is left. Just 3 minutes. Curtis, again, not going to get the checkered flag, but this will be his last flying lap of the day. A mishap from his team, from Prema, leaving him to only do 3 laps, and it's going to cost him because Aaron Curtis He's gonna come across the line and he'll be starting in 17th place on the grid. He's holding up Zolga just a little bit. The Hungarian getting some slipstream. And Curtis didn't improve there. As Zolga has started his lap. Now Henry Watts on his last flyer. Where is he gonna place himself? He lost a lot of time in sector 2. And 3 tenths down, 13 for him. So he's gonna have to make another fight back. Which we know he can do to get some points tomorrow. Federi, he goes into 18th.
Here comes Carl Burns then on his final flying lap. He is on an improvement, but let's see if he can get up from 9th place. He goes across the line and he goes 7th.
He only went into 7th. So yeah, my bad there, but still. It looked promising as it gave him a top 8 start, at least at the moment. Now Cupo currently in 5th. Where can he place himself? And Nguyen's behind him. Couldn't Nguyen take back pole from Zorbach? No.
Nguyen didn't improve either, and he's got the checker flag next to his name. So at best, he's going to be starting on the front row unless somebody pushes him down. McCarthy does not improve there. Here comes Dennis Graff in the MP Motorsport. Across the line.
Doesn't seem to be improving either. And no, he doesn't. Quite a way off.
Here comes the championship leader, Davy Suarez, only in 12th. He doesn't look good for an improvement across the line, and it's only going to be a 12th place start for the Brazilian.
Adventure, it looks like he'll be starting 6th or lower, and yes, he will. Krzysztof Beranek, though, is on a very good lap at the moment, I think. Where can he place himself? 9th. So it goes in the top 10 there. Now Thomas Bennett. Where can he go?
Does not improve. Anderson is last, and at the moment, he's not improving, so it looks like he might be starting in last unless he has a miracle in the last sector. Across the line goes the Swede, and no
miracles this time around, but Skillen goes into 3rd place. Beats his teammate there, and quite a solid lap from him. Zorbach, he doesn't improve, but he's on pole anyway. Only a few people left who could take that away from him, and one of them is Baden Zolga. He did it in Austria, but he can't do it this time. Tomaselli goes into 9th. Now Fosbury might be the last car left. Him and Waldinger. Fosbury improved, but only stayed 21st. And there's Galloway as well. Yeah, sorry.
Odd fact as well, the leaders of the teams championship, ART, they're both on the back row of the grid.
So clearly they want to do some sort of last to first challenge. I guess they just want to let the other teams catch up a little bit. Either way, the teams championship, of course, we don't talk about it as much as we do about the drivers, but it's looking very interesting as well. And with 5 races to go, it can still go anyone's way.
Yep, and as a result, the checker flag is out, and Nicholas Zorbach will be starting on pole position for tomorrow's GP2 race.
Yep, that's right. He didn't quite get pole in Austria, but because of Zolga's incredible lap, but Zorbach made up for it by winning the race. Now he didn't have to worry about Zolga, and Nicholas Zorbach has taken pole position. So a great lap from him, and I think his first pole of the season, if I'm not wrong, because I don't remember seeing him on pole before. And yeah,
I think it is the first pole of the season. You are correct there, I think.
Yeah, Juanmin Nguyen is in 2nd place, finally getting some good luck after his last couple of races, which haven't been that good. Of course, in Silverstone, he made a massive error and crashed out of a podium place, spun out of podium place, then crashed with Curtis at the end. And of course, in Silverstone, not in Silverstone, at Hungaroring, he was fighting with Zolga for a podium place, and then his engine failed right as he overtook him. So 2nd place for him. But the man of the moment, of course, is Nicholas Zorbach with pole position, and he wants to get himself in a championship fight. There aren't many races to go, but Zorbach seizing the advantage and taking pole in Belgium.
And I have to say, the car hasn't launched yet, so we've got to the point where the car didn't launch during the stream, so that's all good.
Yeah, I told you, Joe, car launches tend to drag on quite a while, so thankfully it did.
Yeah, in our case, yes. In our case.
Yeah.
So, so here is the pole sitter. We're looking at him right now. Obviously, he might have a bit of a disadvantage given how the start usually works here at Spa, but he'll probably be hoping that doesn't happen to him tomorrow. But only time will tell, I suppose.
Last season race was pretty interesting. We had a big fight between Maxim Titkov and Laura Chang early on, and Andrea Federi made a name for himself. He passed Titkov and he was going to win the race, but he had a puncture and he had to come in. And then from outside the points in the last laps, fight all the way back to 6th. So that was a very entertaining race. And we'll
there
have to
is
see
the
if
grid.
tomorrow's can give us the same excitement again. And of course, here are the qualifying results. And Joe, would you like
Car
to
has
read them?
been launched. Car has just
Ooh,
been launched, by the way. As expected, not much differences apart from a little bit of changes from the back and obviously the new regs regarding the floor. But anyway, here is the grid for tomorrow's race. Nicholas Zorbach on pole with Johan Mindergoen in second. Max Skillen is in third. Chris Chatfield fourth. Chuck McCarthy in fifth. David Kupop in sixth. With Daniel Adventure seventh. Carl Burns eighth. Alessandro Tomaselli ninth. Berlin Solga rounding out the top 10. Would you like to read the rest, Rob?
yeah, of course, sure. Kristo Barnek is in 11th, so at the halfway point. Jay Galloway is in 12th place, just in front of Isaac Fashere and Davi Suarez. Championship leader down in 14th this time, but his rival is also a little bit down as well. Henry Watson is in 15th, with Dennis Graff 16th, and in front of Thomas Bennett. Aaron Curtis, the man who took pole in Bahrain and Hungary, won't be on pole this time. He's only down in 18th, in front of Adria Federi, the man who did wonders here last season. Will he do some more wonders tomorrow? We'll have to see. But it's going to be a difficult task for him. Benz Waldinger, bad qualifying for Prema too. They're 19th and 20th with Waldinger 20th. And of course, at the back row of the grid is Art Grand Prix cars with Jared Fosbury in front of Thomas Anderson.
Indeed. And hopefully we'll be in for a very good race tomorrow.
We should be, yeah. If it's as good as the two Whoppers I had just had today, it was special promotion from Burger King. It should be really good because, man, I got so this offer they had. I basically got myself two Whoppers for the equivalent of £3. So that was a really good offer.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully a good race tomorrow. It should be about 26 laps of action, I would think, because it's usually
Indeed
60% of the full race distance. So hopefully a good race in store here in Spa.
Absolutely. Not a lot of laps, but there'll be very good laps. And Christoph, if you're watching, because I'm sure you are, I know you're going to tweet about my comment about Burger King. So please do it because I've seen your tweets and right after every GP2 stream about my quotes, and they're really funny. Keep doing it. Thank you, bro. And yeah, I also want to say thank you to Flo for hosting this as usual. Thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, thanks, Joe, for joining me today. Hope you can join tomorrow as well. Really being good
Hopefully
to
I
commentate
can.
this. All right.
Hopefully I can. Anyway, so that is the end of the stream then.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again next time. Grab some French fries, which are not French, they're actually Belgian, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
See you later.